Hey, what's up, guys? Thank you for joining me for another video. Today we're going to talk about our feelings, what our feelings are telling us, whether we can trust our feelings, how they help us, how they might at times hinder us and keep us from experiencing joy and knowing what to do in life. They can keep us stuck, and they could propel us forward. I want to encourage you, if you haven't thought about it already, get in this book, You Can Be Happy No Matter What by Richard Carlson. Excellent book, and we're going to talk about feelings today. So, we all have feelings. Some of us are more in touch with our feelings than others. Some of us think about our feelings more than we feel our feelings. Some of us are very in tune with our feelings. But what are our feelings really telling us? How can they help us? And then when are we paying too much attention to our feelings? There's an old saying that you're only one thought away from a happy feeling. And all of us want to feel happy. All of us want to feel content. All of us want to feel a sense of belonging wherever we go, a sense of connection. And we may not understand the relationship between our thoughts and our feelings. If you think of something that is sad, maybe the death of a loved one, or the maybe a problem in the world like disease or some kind of injustice that's going on in the world, it'll, of course, if you dwell on that thought, will probably bring you feelings of sadness or feelings of frustration or anger. And of course, the opposite is true. If you think about something that brings you joy, think about a happy thought. Think about a time in your life when you were close to another person and you were maybe the birth of a child, or a time at an amusement park where you were enjoying yourself with someone. And if you sit and dwell on that thought, it'll probably bring you a sense of happiness or a sense of contentment, or maybe a location that brings you peace and happiness, like sitting at the beach or being up in the mountains or riding a motorcycle through the desert or whatever it is. Our thoughts directly relate to our feelings, and what we think about is going to affect the way we feel. Now, some of you may be sitting here thinking, well, what's the difference? Who cares? Why is this important? Well, when we are feeling stuck, when we are feeling stuck in our feelings, when we are feeling depressed, when we are feeling anxious, when we are feeling afraid, when we're feeling angry or dismissed or any of those negative feelings, it's going to bring our mood level down. I think most people could understand this concept, that when we are feeling sad, frustrated, upset, we're feeling disconnected, disillusioned, disappointed, what's going to happen to our mood levels? They're going to naturally drop. And you're going to be in what's called a bad mood or a blue mood. And so you again might say, so what? People get into bad moods. It's just a part of life. That's true. It is a part of life. And it's something that we ought to pay attention to. And probably we don't think much about our mood. We may not think about really the mood that other people that surround us are in. We just think, I've got to do this project, I've got to do this task, and regardless of how I feel or regardless of how the other person feels that I'm working with, we have a deadline, and so we've got to get this job done. Or we have a problem or a crisis or an issue that has to be resolved, and regardless of my mood or my feelings about it, I've got to get my work done. Okay, I understand that, but I want you to think about it like this. I think the author here is challenging us to think about it like this. When we are in a good mood, the world seems what? Brighter, seems lighter, seems like we're more in touch with a sense of peace and wholeness in the world, that life's going to be okay, that things are going to work out. We could say we're upbeat, we could say we're positive, we could say we're full of joy, we're peaceful, whatever. When we're in a better mood, we can figure out our problems much simpler. with a lot less time and effort, without all of this stewing and out all this getting lost in our thoughts. We are better able to get our work done at a better quality level. We are better at interacting with others. Problems in our life seem to go away. We're not frustrated by others as much. We have a general peace and outlook toward life, and we're more productive. And we have maybe what you might call charisma. We just seem like everything falls in line and we get all of our stuff done, and every free throw we make. It just seems like when we're in that state where we're positive and everything's going good, then everything does go good. And it seems like we overcome every obstacle that's in our way. When we're in a low mood, just the opposite. Everything can become a problem. Our outlook in life becomes filtered through that mood, through those feelings. And everything seems like it's against us. Everything seems like it's a problem. Everything seems like it's a frustration. And let me give you an example. I'm a dad with 5 kids. And 5 kids can get rather talky and can be loud. And they want to play and they want to giggle and they want to sing and they want to scream and they want to, roll around and make a lot of noise, right? When I'm in a good mood, none of that bothers me. When I'm in a good mood, I can appreciate it. And I can even join in to all of that goofiness, right? When I'm in a good mood, they can be loud, they can sing songs, they can, do all the annoying things kids do, and none of it bothers me. On the other hand, when I'm in a low mood, all of those same activities and everything done exactly the same way, all of it's frustrating. All of it's irritating. Now, the circumstances were exactly the same. Kids are just being kids. But when I'm in an upset mood and I feel like, how come I have to do all the dishes? How come I have to take out the trash every time? How come I have to cut the grass? How come I'm the only one that can wash the car? How come I'm the only one? And I'm frustrated at work, or I'm frustrated with, what is it? I'm frustrated with all my thoughts. All my thinking about everything is frustrating me. My mood level drops. And everything now becomes a problem. Even the innocent laughter of children becomes an irritation when you're in that low mood level. In other words, you become, in many ways, less productive. Now, you might still get stuff done, but you're doing it in a different way. You're doing it out of frustration. You're doing it out of anger. You're doing it and the quality of your work will reflect that whether you realize it or not. It doesn't mean you can't get stuff done. You might get a lot of stuff done out of your anger. But here's the question. To what cost to yourself and to what cost to the others that have to live with you? And you're probably paying a high relationship cost to your own health and to your relationships with the other people in your life. So I hope you start to see the value of trying to maintain a positive mood, because you're more effective, you're more productive, you're more useful, you're more at peace, and your relationships are all better when your mood is good. Okay, so maybe you're saying, well, all right, that's great, but I feel powerless over my mood. I mean, people do stuff to me, they say stuff to me, and then I am what I am. How can I really control that? All right, so let's talk about that. Who's in control of your thoughts? You are. So you can control your thoughts. How do you know if your thoughts are what you ought to be thinking about right now? How do you know maybe your thoughts might be dragging you toward a low mood? Well, this is where feelings become important. Your feelings are like a measuring tool. They help you know whether what you're thinking about is what you should be thinking about, or whether you need to take a break from all of those thoughts. So if you were to be working in the kitchen and you wonder if the water's hot, maybe you got a pan of water and you're getting ready to boil some water, and you want to test the temperature, you stick your finger in the water and you feel, oh, that's not even close to being warm yet. I better wait a little bit longer. And then you wait a little bit longer, put your finger in the water. Okay, now it feels a lot warmer. And then you stick your finger in again a few minutes later, and oh, you got to pull it out because it's about to boil. It's really hot. So your feelings tell you something. Your feelings in terms of that water, how that water, it tells you at what point that water's at in its level of heat, okay? Same thing happens with our emotions. When we start to feel stressed and we start to feel frustrated and we start to feel irritated and we start to feel upset and angry and disheartened and anxious and whatever it is, those quote unquote negative feelings, just like the pain receptors in your finger or the pain receptors in your hand are trying to warn you, to tell you something about the nature of what's in front of you, your feelings are warning you that your thinking is becoming unproductive, that your thinking is becoming too heavy, too serious, too trapped, too stuck, and it's time for you to take a break from all of that heavy thinking. So your feelings are warning you, and it's time for you to say, okay, wait a minute, I need to move my attention away from this problem or what it is I'm thinking about. Somebody said something hurtful to you and you're thinking and thinking and thinking about why did they say that and was it appropriate and did I deserve it, and then you feel yourself starting to defend yourself and get frustrated. It's time for you, as you feel all of that self-protective angst, tension starting to build up in you, those feelings are telling you it's time to shift your thinking away from this. Shift your thinking away from this because it's now going to start becoming unproductive. You're going to start thinking about how you can argue and debate stuff that you don't need to argue and debate. You could just let it go. You could just say, well, that's the view from their planet, and I'm not going to give this any more attention because it's not productive. It's not helpful for me. And then let your feelings guide you, in a sense, to know when it's time to leave some thoughts alone. Now, we're not saying, I don't think the author is saying that, well, then you just don't deal with anything. Just bury your head in the sand, let people say whatever they want to say to you and be like a doormat. And anytime something starts to get feeling bad, then just ignore it and evade it. I don't think that's at all what he's saying. I think that he's reminding us that if something really is a problem, if something really is a real problem, then you want to face it with all of the wisdom and all of the strength you can. And being in that low state is not the right state in order to face that problem. So you may need to get away from those thoughts for a moment, let your mood level rise back up, put your problem on the back burner, and say, I don't need to solve this right now. I need to just avoid this right now. I don't need to solve it right now. I just need to set it aside. This whole thing I'm thinking about, all that could go wrong, or all that has gone wrong, or all that's upsetting me, I need to just put this on the back burner and not give it any attention for the time being. Move on to other things and fill my mind with other things. And as my mood level starts to rise back up, when I come back up to feeling good again and everything's fine, then pull that off the back burner and see, is this really still a problem? Because if it is a legitimate problem, it'll be a problem whether you're in a bad mood or in a good mood. If it's only a problem when I'm in a bad mood, then it's not really a problem. But it seems like a problem when I'm in a bad mood. It literally seems like it's a real problem that needs thought, needs attention, needs to be addressed, needs to be dealt with. If it really is truly a problem that needs to be dealt with, then it won't go away when you're in a better mood. It'll still be there waiting for you on the back burner. When you're in that better mood, pull it off the back burner, Now that you've had some time to let it rest and sort of simmer over there, I don't mean simmer like you've been angry, just out of view. It's been put in the back of your mind. Then, now that you're in a better mood and everything seems okay again and you're at peace and relatively calm, pull it off the back burner and look at it. Does this really need my attention? And if it does, then I'll give it some attention. If it doesn't, then I'm going to be done with it. And I'll know that I need to be done with it when I'm in a better mood. I won't know that I need to be done with it when I'm down here. I'll think it really is a problem. So I hope that's clicking with you. I hope that's making sense. I hope that this is starting to gel. Because I think it's important. When you and your wife, you and your husband, you and your child, you and your siblings, you and your coworkers start getting into conflict with each other and somebody says something that hurts your feelings, right? What's going to happen as you continue to think about it and think about what was said and why they said it and what did they mean by that? Look at what's happening. As you think about it, guess what's going to happen? You're going to start feeling stuff. When you feel stuff, it's like a warning light on the car. Now, the warning light on the car doesn't tell you necessarily what exactly is wrong with the car, but the warning light tells you what? It's time to do what? Shut the engine off and pull over to the side of the road. That's what it's telling you. You may not be able to ascertain from that warning light exactly what the problem is or how to solve the problem. But the light is an indicator that there is a problem. And when the light flashes, it's time to pull over to the side of the road and shut the engine off. Let the car rest for a minute. And then it needs some attention. Okay? So let your feelings be like that warning light. When you start to feel shame, guilt, frustration, you start to feel like you need to defend yourself. You start to feel like there's some tension or some turmoil in your life. You're moving away from happiness, which is the goal. You're moving away from happiness. Okay, remember this book is called How to Be Happy. It's not called How to Be Right or how to prove to everybody you're right or how to get your way. This isn't a book about how to win arguments, how to prove your point and get other people to agree with you. This is a study on how to retrieve that sense of joy, contentment, and peace that is your natural state in life. So when the feelings start to surface and the turmoil starts to, roll around inside you, it's like the warning light is going off. Okay, now what are you going to do? You can ignore it. You can even let it energize you and say, wow, the warning light's going off. We better go faster before the car breaks down. Now that's how you enter a life of stress. And a lot of people are living that life of stress, drinking monster drinks, drinking coffee all day long, eating junk food, staying up late. And it's like the warning lights in life are going off. All of that stress is flashing at them, but they let it fuel them to, we got to work faster, we got to work faster, we got to work faster. When really, when all those emotions start to boil up, it ought to be like a warning light that reminds us, whoa, okay, I'm doing too much heavy thinking about all this. I need to set things aside because I'm starting to get nervous. I'm starting to get sick. I'm starting to get paranoid. I'm starting to get frustrated. I'm starting to get overwhelmed. I need to take a break from all my heavy thinking because what my feelings are telling me is that my mood level is doing this. And if I stay with this any longer, then what? I'm not going to be able to solve any of my problems. In fact, everything in my life that even wasn't a problem is now going to become a problem. I'm going to start barking at everybody. And I'm not going to get to any solutions while I'm down here. I might be powerful. I might get stuff done. But I'm not operating out of joy and I'm not bringing joy. And ultimately, at what cost to my health and at what cost to all of the relationships in my life. So, wow, this is good stuff. This is really good stuff. I think I pretty well explained it. Maybe I missed a few things. I don't know. But let me just say again, I think contentment, joy, and peace, it isn't something we really have to work for. You know, it's something that we have inherently within us if we can remove all the obstacles. It's not like if I buy that thing, then I'm going to be happy. No, if I can quit obsessing about what I need to buy, I'll return back to my happy state. And most of us won't quit obsessing about what we want to buy until we buy it. If those people just wouldn't say those hurtful things to me, then I could be happy. Well, it's not really that those people said those hurtful things. It's if you could quit obsessively thinking about what was said about you. And so you feel like I can't quit obsessively thinking about these things until they apologize. And if they would apologize, then I could release it. And then I could be happy. So my question for you is why can't you just release it even if they don't apologize? Well, if I could just talk out my problem with somebody else that wasn't engaged. My husband won't listen to me. My wife won't listen to me. And that's my problem, is I got all these frustrations at work and all these frustrations with the kids and all these frustrations, and I just need somebody who would be supportive and let me talk and listen to my problems and would be there to support me. Okay, so if you could talk out all your problems, then what? They would have a solution to every one of your problems? No, probably not. But see, what would happen is you would feel like you could release all of your obsessive thinking about the problems because you could talk them out. Then you could release all the obsessive thinking. So, watch this. Why can't you do that even without a person to talk to? You could. All you have to do is just say, wait a minute, I'm going to release this right now. And if you're a Christian, then that might mean release it to the Lord and say, Lord, in prayer, I can't deal with this anymore. I'm just going to release it to you and trust that you're going to watch over it. Okay? If you're not a Christian, it doesn't mean you can't release it. You can just say, I'm just going to let this go. I'm not going to worry about all this. I'm not going to obsess about all this. I'll just put it on the back burner. And if you're not comfortable with that thought about putting it on the back burner, then give yourself a deadline. Set yourself an alarm. Say, tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I'm going to check the back burner and see what's back there. So right now, I'm going to get rid of it. I'm going to put it on the back burner. Whatever's going on at work, whatever's going on with my son, whatever's going on at home, whatever crisis I'm in the middle of that's taking me down, I'm going to put it on the back burner. Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, I'm going to examine it once again. I'm not going to think and worry about it till tomorrow at 12 o'clock. I'm going to give myself permission to focus on other things. And when you focus on other things, your general mood's going to go up because you can be released from all your obsessive thought. And when your mood goes back up, guess what? Tomorrow at 12 o'clock, that problem that seemed so overwhelming today, my guess is you'll probably already have the solution for it. Because often the solutions to our problems don't come with obsessive thought. They come when we relax. They come when we let go of trying to be in control of everything and we say, okay, I can't fix everything. I can't solve everything. I'm going to relax. And guess what happens? Our common sense, our wisdom kicks in and we're better able to sort through our problems when we're in a higher mood and in a higher state. So look, if you really care about your marriage, if you really care about your coworkers, if you really care about getting things done and really accomplishing stuff that matters, then guess what? You're going to have to care about your feelings. You're going to have to care about your thoughts. You're going to have to care about your mood. You're going to have to do what it takes to lift your mood up, because it's only when you're up here in this higher mood that you're really going to be able to make a great impact. When your relationships are going to start to heal. All right. Thank you, guys. I hope you think about this. Have a great week. Have a great day. Be present to life. Be focused on what you're doing right in front of you. Be released from all your obsessive thinking, probably about problems you couldn't solve anyway. when your feelings start to get you jacked up, let it be a warning light that says, oh, I need to change what I'm thinking about. I need to focus my attention elsewhere. All right, guys, have a great week. We'll see you.